Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of AM and the PM with Amanda and Mark. Amanda, would you like to introduce our guests today?
Today we have Rachel and Michael.
What's happening, guys?
Very excited to have you guys
Excited.
on.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Happy to be here.
Nice. So, as a little bit of context, I guess, from our end, Amanda knows Rachel from work?
From work. I used to work with Rachel, yes.
Nice. And then we met Michael today, which is
That's
tremendous. And I don't know, Amanda, where do you kind of want to start off? Just some of the context behind everything that they have gone through in their relationship so far?
Yeah, I
and stuff?
guess, how long have you guys been together?
You want to do this one or should I?
Good. Good.
Okay, so we are going to be hitting 2 years
Okay,
in November.
nice.
Will be 2 years of dating.
Yeah, I remember when you
Yeah.
guys, like, got together and everything. I couldn't
Yes.
remember.
Yeah, it's the way our relationship started was a little unorthodox, I guess you would say. Online dating.
Yeah?
Never thought I would have been able to do it.
Yeah.
Because like 10 years ago, I was always like, it's a little weird.
Right.
You find a lot of weirdos on
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
But as you get older,
Yeah.
it's tougher to find people,
Mhm.
meet them. So I tried it. My previous girlfriend before her met her through online dating.
Right.
So had a long relationship with her, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that again. Well, I did.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, I found her.
There
Nice.
you go.
So do you
Hope
want?
you don't regret
Nice.
it. We are engaged though.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
What was it? What, like, dating website or?
It was POF or Plenty of Fish.
Oh,
if you guys are
that's where my
familiar.
parents met.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yep.
Well, not my parents, my stepdad, but you know what I mean.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Fair
think
enough.
Plenty of Fish was around when I was like, you know.
being conceived.
Yeah. I don't think
Prior
it was
to
around back then.
conception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard of that, though. How old are you guys now?
29.
29?
And 27. I'll be
27. Gotcha.
I guessed that right. He asked me how old you are. I was like, I think she's like 27.
Getting the details before
I
the
kind
show.
of forget how old you are. I was like
Just-
23, 24.
Oh, I'm
all a
23.
blur.
I actually forgot that I was 23. I thought I was still 22. After you turn 21, it just goes downhill. I don't remember how old I am.
That was funny. I think that was
Yes.
during an episode that you
Yeah,
forgot
it
how old you were.
was.
That was funny.
It's true though. Like you just don't know how old you are. Like when you
Right.
said that, I was like, "Oh, how old am I?"
Gotta calculate real quick.
Yeah, I also had my birthday during the quarantine, so I don't know. Those couple months before we went back to work is just like
Yeah.
a blur. Like
Things are mushing
it's like it
together
didn't
for
even
sure.
happen. I'm like, oh, now
This
it's
whole year
September.
is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's
weird.
been very strange.
So I was going to ask a question. Oh,
Mm.
so how long did you guys like talk before meeting?
So we started talking, I think it was August of 2018. And we talked for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden, she just got off.
You just got
I just disappeared for like 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
And I was like, we were having this
Disappeared.
conversation.
Ghosted.
But I mean, I was like, okay, I guess I'll talk to other girls. And she eventually messaged me back a few weeks later.
Can I tell the reality
Yeah.
behind it?
Okay.
Okay. So prior to meeting him online, I was in a place where I was dating someone else,
Mhm.
and it, I was kind of getting over it. After we broke up, I was back into the online scene. I met a lot of weirdos, and I actually thought he was fake. I did
Too
because
good to be true.
Catfish.
that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was because I'm like, this guy's cute and he's nice, and there's something wrong here. Because
Can have one or the other, not both.
right. Like it just, I mean, I had broken my ankle at the time. I was kind of in a dark place. I'm like, you know what? I'm just deleting this app. I'm tired of all these weirdos. Like, and I
Oh no, you have to tell how.
no. We don't play those games, Amanda. But now I feel like we have to, unless you want to take it off the podcast. But I'll be open. It's okay. I guess I'm over it. I actually broke my leg at my job. That whole, getting paid for it at work and everything was dark days.
Yeah.
But I was helping the older kids in the bounce house, and I rolled my ankle
Mm,
and broke my leg.
Jeez.
Yeah. Got made fun of it for it at work
It
too.
happens. It happens.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Interesting.
And then I went back on to rewind back to the
Yeah.
original question after like 2-3 weeks because I'm like, you know what, I'm lonely. And then I found out he was real. So
How
It's
does
kinda
how does that how did that transpire? Did you just like ask if
Yeah.
he was real?
No,
Yo, you real, bro?
I didn't. I kind of just like started talking to him again. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll give you a chance. I had been catfished at this point though, and that's why I was like
Wow.
shady about things.
Wow.
I met this.
Did you meet Neve from
I'm
Catfish?
like trying to
No,
remember.
no.
I'm like trying to
I
remember
don't
if
even
we
watch that
talked
show.
about this before, because I feel like someone was like talking about catfish, and I was like, you have to call up Neve. 'Cause I'm like I'm a huge catfish fan.
Oh really? No,
Yeah.
I don't think we. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
lunchtime talks
Mhm.
and whatnot. But
Yeah.
no, the guy that I had talked to, like we talked for a couple weeks, and I'm like, oh, you're cool and everything, and like you're cute, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we exchanged Snapchats, and then like it was a different guy, although it was like an awkward pose. I'm like, you're not who you say you are.
Oh
And I
my
called him
God.
out on it. I was nice about it though. I was like, if you can't love yourself for who you are, no one's gonna love you,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Wow.
anyway, and now I've got Michael.
Yeah, I think the thing that she didn't believe, I posted on my profile that I enjoy doing puzzles.
He did.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that's not a common thing that most guys put, but that's what I like doing.
Yeah, I'm
so.
like, who says that? Who enjoys puzzles? But we do. We do puzzles.
Aw.
Perfect.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Nice.
So did you guys? I had a coworker ask me the other day, Shelby. She asked me like, we just had our 4-year anniversary, and she told me like we should go back to where we had our first date, and I was like, I couldn't even remember like where we had our first date, because we got together by like mutual friends, and then like eventually we went out to eat like by ourselves. But did you guys go on like, I don't know, like a certain number of dates?
Yeah.
or,
How
like,
did it
you know, how
transfer
does
into the
it-
real world?
Yeah, because I've never met anyone online,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Do you want to answer this?
Yeah,
one?
so okay, I wanted the first date to be something unique,
Yeah.
not just the typical like dinner and a movie. But we did meet for dinner at Olive Garden, and then I was like, you know what? It was around Halloween time. I was like, let's go to a haunted house.
Nice.
So that's what we
Oh,
did. We went
yeah,
to
that'd be
100
fun.
Acres Manor,
Oh, nice.
and she had never really been over in the South Hills for an extended period of time.
Mhm.
So it was nice for her to get over on my side.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we ended up going on probably five or six dates before it became like official. So.
Nice.
And he was very nice. I was actually frustrated because he was so nice.
Yes.
I get that,
And
I
then
get
I was
that.
taking a trip to Virginia to see a friend on a plane. And I was like, well, if you're going to kiss me, you're going to have to kiss me now. It's going to be another couple weeks. Gotta
Mm.
kiss me. So
Right.
then he did.
So I did.
Nice.
But I was the one who was like, yo. Because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So like after you, so like that was kind of like the, obviously took from Plenty of Fish to the real world, all that. Where, like, maybe we go back for a second now, because that's the initial meeting, and even like to, I kind of to this day. So like individually, I'm always interested in how couples like actually met, like kind of their story before, if that makes sense, right? So Michael, you mentioned that you're from the South Hills, like,
Yes.
like maybe just like what's kind of like your ... like it, like you're 29, so like what do you do for work?
So I have two jobs right now.
Okay.
I am the receiver at Coons Banksville,
Gotcha.
and then I also am a producer at a radio station.
Nice.
Yes, I during the baseball season I produce the Pirates games.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
yeah, so my goal is to eventually get on air, have a show, and hopefully I'll just take off from there in my radio career.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So this is like all, yeah, you are the veteran. We talked
Yeah.
about that before
Yeah.
we got on.
Yeah.
You're literally a veteran.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Rachel, how about you?
Oh, jeez. Job or education?
Just
or
in
what?
general. I mean, like like when I say job, I don't mean just like job, but just even like I kind of should have made it a little more broad. Like even what do you guys do for like what do you enjoy doing,
What's
like
your
individually
passion?
and then
Okay.
together too.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda knows a little
Yeah.
bit about that because during quarantine, I helped paint her cat for her.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I do remember that.
My
Yeah.
beautiful
Minnie.
cat.
That's
Yeah.
right. I was
Beautiful-
trying to remember her name.
My
Glad
beautiful-
you
my
put it back.
Got you.
My beautiful picture of my cat Minnie that I hang above my bed.
I'm really glad you like it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, I love to paint. I
Yeah.
big artsy nerd. Went to school for art and then kind of went the education track, and then that's where I kind of ended up in daycare. And I do enjoy teaching though. I really
Mhm.
enjoy being kind of that person for kids and being that role model. So,
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Were you guys always like that? Like, did you go to school for painting and stuff like that, or?
I did, yeah. I went originally for art education in Edinburgh, if you guys
Gotcha.
are familiar.
Gotcha.
And then I did student teaching and everything, and now here we are, kind of just getting that work-related experience is the way I like to look
you.
at it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
One day I want to be able to like maybe have my own little shop or something. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I admire people that are creative because I am not as creative as most. And it's like, it's kind of cool because I feel like there's like this section of people that, you know, whether it's in a relationship or just like person to person, you kind of have like this weird thing of like structure / creativity, right brain, left brain type thing. And when you have that and works together, it's like amazing. So
he's definitely the left brain and I'm the creative.
Yeah, there you go.
Although he's super into like media and it comes to like movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Yeah.
we did the brackets? Do you remember talking about the brackets that he does?
No.
Okay, so during quarantine, I'm a big sports guy.
Yeah.
So because everything was canceled, I was like, okay, what's something fun for people to do?
Yeah.
So because March Madness was just about to happen, and then it got canceled.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, how about I do all of these bracket ideas? So I did greatest TV show of all time,
yeah,
greatest rock band, greatest cartoon,
Yeah.
and I got about a good bit of people, at least about 50 or 60 people that were interested, and they want me to keep doing it. So
Yeah.
figured why not?
I
So-
think I don't know if there was definitely other stuff like that as well going on because like I'm in the ball hockey community and I know that we had the same type of thing going on where like it was all the big teams because we couldn't play.
Right.
So it was like the same thing. Like who do you think would win in this matchup type? That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, especially like during quarantine and all that sort of stuff was
Right.
going on. Couldn't get out.
And then I don't know if you guys are familiar with the website Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
So here, they literally did 2 of the bracket ideas that I did 2 months earlier. So it's just
Oh,
like, see, I think I should have been hired by them. Could give them
I
some good
stole it.
content. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Didn't copyright it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. Missed out.
yeah.
Next year though. Hopefully there's not another 2020 though. So
Right.
True.
Right.
that would be rough. Yeah.
No.
This year's been a wash.
Yeah. Total wash.
But you know, it led people to do things like this. It led
For
people
sure.
to start brackets.
Yeah.
It led
100%.
people to start
Mhm.
podcasts.
Definitely.
And, you know.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the time I got to spend working on myself because Mark was actually telling me that I should focus more on myself. And I'm like, no, like I just, go hang out with my family, do this, I do that. And, I'm happy, which I was.
Mm-hmm.
But, it forced me to do stuff for myself because I was, at home all day, every day. Like,
Yes. Yeah. You gotta
it's like, yeah.
push through that
So-
boring
Yeah.
time. Oh my gosh.
I had a schedule and everything. I was good to go. And then the last couple weeks of it, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel
It's
passionately
just-
about that. I'm interested to get your guys' take on
Yeah.
that, like how you, so like as us, Amanda and I as a couple, we kind of have this approach. I feel like, especially during like Amanda said, like during quarantine and stuff like that, that it's almost provides like a way to reset in a way. Not like quarantine's a regular thing, but just like when you have those opportunities to kind of focus more on yourself, and then I think that ultimately makes the relationship better because, like you mentioned earlier, when you love yourself and you know exactly who you are and stuff like that. Do you guys find that in your relationship? Have you experienced that in like the 2 years that you've been together? Did you kind of do that beforehand, like with other relationships? What are your kind of thoughts on that?
You want to take this?
Honestly, I don't know if I understand the question. If I'm being completely honest.
Just like, I mean, so for instance, I think I'll use more context for me and Amanda. We were in relationships prior to us being in one, right? And I think that provided a lot of like experience and like understanding what we wanted and didn't want in a relationship, and also like how we just kind of almost function as individuals, like the things that we like, the things that we don't like, and how we might find a partner one day that was kind of would complement us. So I don't know, like I always ask that question our guests just because I'm interested in knowing like what the journey was to get to, to find your fiance. Actually, fiance is in this point.
Well, for me, I'll go first.
Mhm.
I really didn't date much. I've had
Gotcha.
2 super long relationships before her.
Yeah.
One was 5 years, one was 3 years.
Gotcha.
2 totally different dynamics. The
Mhm.
first one, my high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Made it all through college.
Yeah.
And then just fell apart.
Yeah.
And my last one, met all through online dating.
Mhm.
Kind of more like so being an independent. I was always over her house. You
Right.
know, we try to get an apartment together.
Right.
So I think it did prepare me for what I want now, which I found in Rachel. So I am kind of thankful that it happened.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Exactly. It's exactly how I kind of think about that. So,
Mhm.
Rachel, do you have similar experience or?
Yeah, I think so. I think I used to really devote myself more to it. Like, and I'm 100% devoted to Michael, but before I didn't love myself, kind of what we were
Right.
talking about before. as much as I do now to
Yeah.
know who I am and know what I want.
Right.
And then in those past relationships, I think that, I think everyone goes through a place where you're kind of lost with that person. You're like, okay, is this right? Is this wrong?
sure.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think both of us, and we could go into further detail or not, about like
Those each one.
about just like people that we've been with, and like
Right.
Yeah.
I think we've had like we both dated kind of controlling people, and
Yeah.
I think that showed us more like the respect for the other person. I think to both, we've gone through a lot of similar things. I think a
Yeah.
lot of love can be in understanding
Mm-hmm.
and allowing the other person to be themselves.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we both we've talked about like all of our past relationships and kind of like what went wrong, why it didn't work. And I think a lot of people they don't even like bring up their ex-boyfriend. It's like a big deal. And for us it's more of like, well, this is what didn't work back then, and like here's what we want now,
Right. And I think with us too, like I think it's important with your significant other to know them, to
Mhm.
know what they've gone through. So like you're saying,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't want to talk about like, oh, they're like, oh, don't talk about that, or oh, don't be jealous of this person, kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I
Yeah.
think it's important to know what the other person's gone
Mhm.
through.
For sure. I mean, I just think it teaches you so much. I mean, it teaches you as an individual what you go through, and then you have an experience. You're like, do I want to do that again, or do I not want to do that again? And then when you find your next relationship, if we're talking specifically like about that, but I mean, it could be expanded even just into life, really, just learning from mistakes or learning from experiences. When you, like you said there, when you bring it into your new relationship and you say, hey, look, this happened to me last time. I would really like it if that didn't happen again, or if we worked out different things. Like maybe, like you said, the controlling one is definitely something that I think I probably was myself in the past, a little bit more like controlling in relationships, just because like it's like almost over caring in a way. But it definitely was perceived as controlling and stuff like that. So I think that, whatever side you're on, you always start to learn, maybe you loosen up a little bit, or you start to care a little bit more depending on the experiences that you have. So yeah, it's just fun. It's fun to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Gotta learn something new every day. My mom always said.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Or life
Yeah.
would be boring.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you guys live separately, right?
We
Yes.
do. It's not traditional for these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you get engaged?
It was February 15th of this
Okay.
past year. Yeah.
Okay. So dating for about a year and a half.
Although
the-
he bought the ring a lot
Yes,
earlier.
so
Wow,
I,
nice.
I bought the ring last July.
Okay.
Wasn't
so
planning on doing it,
Okay.
but we had went ring shopping. She picked out a few, and that one was there. And they said like, oh well, this could be gone because it's like,
they gotcha.
a special deal. So I was like,
Yeah.
I might as well just get it now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then I had to talk to her parents though first,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was in December. And I'm glad I proposed when I did, because during the quarantine, I don't think I would have wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was definitely a pick me up
I would-
before the big down.
Right,
for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we
yeah.
rode a little bit higher than I think like
Yeah.
some other
Yeah.
people might
Yeah.
have.
You got something to look forward to, though. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
and this is just so bad because it's like it's messed with a lot of people's weddings that were like going to happen this year.
Right.
So, are you guys looking for a year or so from engagement? Like
April 2022.
Okay, gotcha. So is that 2 years? About
Year.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
We originally
Yeah.
wanted 1 year, but we decided we wanted
Probably
to save up more
best.
money and
Right.
like make sure that all the coronavirus was
Yeah.
done.
Everyone
Yeah.
can go.
All the
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I think that we talked about this before, like sort of like timing after proposal to wedding, and I think you gotta make sure you have enough time. People are like just turning around real fast,
Yeah.
like crazy.
It was
Yeah.
exciting at first.
And especially
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
But yeah, at first it's probably exciting and like, did you want to like hop on planning or like
oh
how
yeah.
did you feel?
Oh yeah. I did so much like
Yeah.
like screenshot this,
Yeah,
screenshot
yeah.
that. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this color, do that color.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like we've had to like pull on the reins a little bit, kind of
Mhm.
thing, just to be smart about it all.
Yeah.
So we have enough money, and
Right.
the world is in a happy place.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you guys waiting to move in together?
you want to answer?
Well,
Sorry.
this is a gray area. I think you
Yeah.
should, because
Oh.
it's more on your end. You can talk about this.
Oh, geez. Okay. Okay. So I was brought up in a very strict Catholic family.
Yep, feel that.
And I love my family and I love my religion. And it's a tough time, to be a
Yeah.
Catholic, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where I'm in this place where I'm an older young adult.
Yeah, I feel like back in the day, you used to get married way younger,
Yes. Yes. And so it makes it difficult because we do want to live together and we spend a lot of time sleeping at each other's houses and whatnot. But there's just there's a lot of pressure not to.
Yeah.
And but at the same token, we're actually looking at houses.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you
Because-
have to. You're engaged. I
Yeah,
mean, you can at
exactly.
least
Yeah,
kind of
it's like
look
a
at it. You know?
very,
Right.
very like
Educational.
100 shades of gray kind of thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we're gonna get married soon, and if we get married, we need a house.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's definitely an interesting topic you guys brought
Yeah.
up.
Oh.
Well, I will say, okay, so I'm Catholic too,
Yeah.
but my parents are more open.
Gotcha.
So like, if we wanted to move in the next 5 months, they'd be perfectly okay with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know some parents have different views on it.
Yeah.
But I feel like just with my last relationship, we were living together for about 3 or 4 months. Not saying that's the reason why things ended, but
Mhm.
I think it's good practice.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think you
Yeah.
need to live with
Exactly.
someone before. So we're aiming, I think, to have a house 6 months before the wedding.
Yeah.
I think
Gotcha.
that's what we're
We
we're
haven't
planning.
said that, but
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, because then like we could always get the house ready before the wedding, and then we
Right.
just move in.
It's less
yeah.
stress
You don't
too.
want
You
to
know?
get married.
No,
and,
and
like,
not
where
have
do
to
you go?
Go back home?
Yeah, we don't want to go
No.
separate
Yeah.
houses. No.
Heck no.
Yeah.
my-
But that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We're pretty pumped. The reason, for our viewers at
Yeah.
home who
Yeah.
are listening,
Yeah.
Michael and I went to the strip district this morning before our interview, and
Nice.
one of the reasons we were looking around is to see my mom found a wedding dress there years ago for $700 on the clearance rack
Oh,
that
wow.
she absolutely adored. And we weren't looking necessarily at wedding dresses, but she said, you know what, you don't know what you're going to find, so go have fun looking.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're 2 years down the road, and we found a guy who's going to be selling flowers possibly for us, and
Nice.
very cheap in bulk, and we make our own bouquets. So we're getting kind of
Oh.
crafty with all this and kind
Yeah.
of looking at all avenues. I was telling my
Yeah.
mom before this strip district idea that we have a camp up north. There's a lot of Amish people. I'm like, Mom, should I go buy some Amish flowers and make my own bouquet? Which is like crazy. But it's like whatever. Like if they're flowers, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but no, these flowers should be a little classier than the Amish, and we do want a classy wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially if you like to do that sort of stuff too. You could get those flowers in bulk, make that sort of stuff. I mean, I think that just gives I think everybody's wedding is always special to them, duh. And then, but if you can make it almost like extra special by doing something like that, where it's like you actually like really enjoy the process even more. I think that's dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys want a big wedding or a small wedding or I guess I could say medium.
Yeah.
Well, we originally did an estimate guest list, and it was closer to 200, which is not
Gotcha.
what we wanted. We
Yeah.
were trying to
Yeah.
make it like 150, but our parents probably want to have certain people there.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, if that's the case, you guys better be dishing out more money.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely
expensive
hard.
plates.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I say that I want a smaller wedding, but I know I'm gonna want to invite like a ton of people. So, but we haven't dived into that yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
But
Yeah,
there's
you
time
are.
for that, and it's
Yeah.
like seasons of life. Right now, you guys got a podcast, and
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
yeah. There's no rush.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. I'm interested. I don't know if you guys were gonna bring up the strip district surprise.
Oh,
But,
Are you ready
but
now?
if you want to, we can wait.
Well, in this bag of goodies, we have
Goodie
with
bags.
us some Lay's chips from India, magic masala. I don't
Oh,
know if I'm
gosh.
saying that correctly, but it sounds interesting and delicious. It looks like
Yeah.
they're kind of spicy. Do we want to get into
Ooh.
these first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Should we precursor with some more information?
Let's spice it up. I mean, yeah. So like you guys just said that you went to strip district, talked about that a little bit. Were you guys looking for stuff specifically? You mentioned before we went on. Maybe this is a good thing to bring up that you're quite adventurous. So like maybe you want to define that a little bit more for our viewers and for us. It's like,
Oh,
what, give us
okay,
some
so-
examples.
So we both, when we first started going out, we were like, oh, you know what would be fun to do like a Fear Factor food challenge.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Like taste
goodness.
So I think
testing,
it started
yeah.
with that. It was probably May of 2019. We
Oh,
went
yeah.
to supermarket and got a whole bunch of different foods that we never tried before.
From China.
Dragon
from-
fruits.
Oh yeah.
She had never she jumbo, right?
I've had jumbo, but it's been
She's
a
not
long
a big fan. Of it.
bologna. My terms.
Oh,
Just
okay.
putting that
Yeah,
out
I'm
there.
not a big
Gotcha.
bologna fan either.
There's certain things that I'm just like, and I'm not a picky eater, but I'm like, I don't like that.
For me, it was like
So-
avocado and guacamole. I can't
Yeah.
stand either.
Oh,
I
I
gotcha.
love that.
So we kind of forced each other in a
Right.
fun way to like, hey, you're trying this again.
Yeah.
And then we had like all these other foods from the strip district that were like, I've never heard of that. Let's try that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so we actually took pictures and it was fun. It was real fun.
Nice.
And so this is our second time going back to the strip and we're like, we got to go do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was joking saying, okay, let's get a dairy from this Chinese market, a meat, and
So was that what you had for lunch? Was it the?
No.
Okay.
Just
No.
bunch of Fear Factor
I was
food.
like, was it a bunch of random stuff?
I don't
you
know if I'd
got?
be that full if it was a Fear Factor
Okay.
lunch. We went to the DeLuca's diner. Have
Oh,
you guys
okay.
ever heard of that?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, the person. If you ever heard of Man versus Food, the guy
Yeah.
who does that
Yeah.
TV show,
Yeah, yeah.
he sat in the same booth we sat in today. So
Nice.
it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys are famous.
We're on your podcast. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Doubly famous.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we decided to buy just some fun foods, and we thought, well, we're going to this podcast, might as well
Yeah.
have some fun with it.
We
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
it. This is our first food cameo on the podcast. It's gonna
Oh
be
boy.
dope.
Whoop, whoop.
First.
Okay, so like I said,
We
it's
have water just in case.
Yeah, I can-
and we also have flavored drinks in the fridge back there just in case
okay.
anything is like
that's good.
really gross.
We have no idea what these foods taste like.
We're gonna find
But
out.
For you viewers at home, again, India's Magic Marsala, Lay's potato chips. It's a very difficult bag.
It must be different bags that they sent.
Better packaging for sure. Wow. I'm not.
There we go.
Nice.
Wow, that that audio of the chips. Do not edit that out.
Here you go. Everyone grab a chip. We'll
Yeah.
do it at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't want to see your
Thank you.
facial expression.
It doesn't smell bad.
There you go.
Mark is a very picky
Jokes
eater.
on us. The regular Lays.
Mark,
Just
Mark
barbecue.
is a very picky eater. For those of you who do not know, he actually though I got a big one.
All right. We want
There we
to.
go.
Ready?
Smells good.
Oh. ASMR.
I like it.
Doesn't taste too bad.
It's interesting.
I would say it's a little hot, but not too bad. Almost like barbecue, but you could definitely taste like more like what they have on there, like little tomato type stuff, and
Like sun-dried tomato flavor.
yeah,
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
With some curry or something.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
yeah,
Make sure you drink your water.
yeah. I don't eat Indian food like truthfully like
Not bad.
ever, but I do like spices. I appreciate a good spice. So I'm
Mhm.
Italian, so I mean it's more like oregano and stuff like that, but it's good. I like
Yeah,
it.
I like it. Cool. Well, feel free to munch.
Sweet, solid.
Should we go for the next thing, or are we gonna
Let's keep it rolling, yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Michael's getting the next
I
one.
was a little scared if it had
It's
like
all
an
you.
Indian like
Yeah.
spice.
Just
something.
hit you like a train right there.
So there are some interesting. I guess they're fruits. They're huge, and when I say huge, I mean like they're these green like spiky fruits. They're really cool if you get the chance to go down there. They're about like probably like a foot long.
Hmm.
They're huge, and like half a foot wide. And they're called jackfruits. I think they're in here. So I really have no idea what this is going to taste like. But there's jackfruit, banana, sweet potato. There's a pineapple on the front
Ooh.
too, and some kind of root. I think like that's the Chinese side. No, it's not.
Can't read that.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Taro. I'm not sure what taro is.
Well, we'll find out.
I don't have any allergies. So
That's good. That's a good point.
That you know of.
Disclaimer here.
How many times have you ate taro though?
There are like different things in here, so I guess we're
Different-
just gonna have to
Okay.
go for it. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm not good.
You just, maybe you just
purple.
close your eyes. Just
I
close your eyes.
don't,
and
no,
pick one.
I'm not closing my eyes.
Oh, what is that? I think it's is this sweet potato?
Oh,
then?
I don't know.
I think I have a banana. I might try more than one if it's
I think
not
I
bad.
would
I think
too,
it's
yeah.
potato one.
Should we all smell it first?
Yeah, it smells weird.
Oh,
It
okay.
It's funky.
It smells like, yeah, it smells like wood.
All right. All right.
Let's try it. was that?
Oh.
Was that the root?
Feels like I'm chewing cement.
Is that hard?
With Bab.
This one's kind of like a cracker.
Yeah, this one's like a.
I think
I
this
don't
is a
know.
sweet potato.
Try a different one. The banana's pretty good.
I don't know what I had, but it was all right.
If it's not sweet,
You probably had the
It
root.
was a little sweet. It was probably the sweet potato.
I think we had the same
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, this one's not as bad. It's not as bad, but
All right, I'm
Did you
trying.
have did you have the purple one? Is that what that was?
I'm gonna try a purple one.
Oh dear.
Maybe adventurous. Ooh,
It looks weird.
it does. Oh.
Smells like cement.
I think that was a potato.
Oh, it's very hard.
yeah.
Did it taste bad too? Or just hard?
I'm not really sure the flavor. It's weird.
It's a root.
It's
Root.
That's
I
crazy.
don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
I don't. I would suggest trying it.
I
if
was
you're-
gonna
if
say
you're
that's not a glowing endorsement. I don't hate it.
up- I mean, hey, like I said, I like to try new things, so I won't be eating more of it, but I don't hate it.
Nice.
To give you more detail.
I had a sweet potato, but it tasted like banana. But
There
the
you go.
banana is definitely pretty good. I mean, I think
Hmm.
I've had dried bananas before, so.
Right, yeah, like dried fruit pouches
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
Do you guys want to go for another one?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
That wasn't bad.
We have two more goodies to try
I
from.
would say the chestnuts.
Chestnuts next.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. You want something?
Save the cookies for last.
Oh,
Yeah,
dessert,
no,
see.
I
I'm
agree.
definitely scared of those cookies.
They actually look good.
No, I feel like they're gonna be good.
They look
Yeah.
like I don't know. They look very sugary. Okay, this is roasted chestnuts. They are peeled and ready to eat. The back I did read said that you can add them to a lot of different desserts.
Oh.
Okay.
So hopefully they're pretty sweet. Ooh, it's a good noise right there. Okay.
Love ASMR.
Ooh. Interesting.
Wow. Is that chocolate?
No, it's the chestnut.
Okay, I'm a little scared.
I'm a little scared.
It almost looks like a mushroom.
Yeah, it's a little wet.
Um,
It's a little wet.
They'll never invite us back.
It does smell and it tastes. And, yeah, look, that looks just like a mushroom. It smells a little funky. We got water.
Amanda, we won't force you.
You can have mine.
He loves you. Look, he's sharing.
I got a tiny
I
one.
mean, it smells and feels a little weird, but if it's a
I got a
nut-
tiny one.
Is it a nut or?
It's a chestnut.
Okay.
But you
All
know
right.
what? I was reading an article because I'm like, what happened to chestnuts? I didn't know what it tastes like. And they said in America, chestnuts are no longer around because
They're
they-
illegal.
they
I'll eat one of
killed
these.
millions of people.
get you highly shrooms.
Seriously, we might get high from this. I don't
No,
know.
no. They said that like other variants of the trees were brought in. I just read this article while you were in the bathroom, and they were saying that like the other trees like killed off the American ones, and that's why chestnuts. Because you think about Christmas time, and
Yeah, I was gonna
Thanksgiving.
say that. This doesn't look Christmassy.
No, it doesn't.
No, I didn't expect it to be wet.
I didn't either.
Oh, okay.
All
Okay,
right.
are we ready for this?
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this tastes like something though. It's disgusting, but it tastes.
I'm
Fuck.
sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry. Got a tissue or something.
Just spit in the back.
We're done with this? Are we
Yeah.
done with this?
She's getting up. Amanda, get right to another water.
Oh my gosh. Can I have another water, please?
I'll take another water too.
Yeah, that was. We might need to go back to the
I'm
chips.
sorry,
yeah,
man.
we need to go
I'm
back to
so
the chips.
sorry. You know, that's the most American thing
That's
on
what
here.
happens.
And it's gross.
Well, it's source of chips. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Just set them on the table.
Okay.
It's okay.
I
I
am
mean,
sorry about that.
Good
Mm.
source of potassium. 138 milligrams. That's good.
It
I
did have like a
so.
similar taste of something gross.
Honestly, I thought that was like a mushroom. I don't eat mushrooms like
Open the
straight up. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
I eat them in other things occasionally.
No, actually, I put a chip in
It
my mouth
looked
right
like-
after, so I like barely
it
tasted
looked like
it.
a
but
mushroom.
my first taste was like,
All right.
I didn't want to look at you guys
All right,
because
that's
I
a
knew,
no.
I knew,
That's a no.
I knew if, I knew if you guys thought it was gross, that it was gonna be really gross for me. So I'm like, and I know you guys probably like stuff that I think is like nasty.
I
you know?
mean,
See, I should
I
have
don't
known. I
know.
should have known when it had a wrinkle on it. It wasn't gonna
A
taste
wrinkle.
When I put my
Foods aren't
hand
supposed to
in
have
it,
wrinkles.
oh man, I'm sorry. Pappy's
all
out.
I took a
We-
really tiny one too.
We
You
were,
guys,
we were on a good run there. We had
We
2 in a
were.
row that were pretty decent. It was
You
only
call
about-
out the
I'm
chestnuts.
saying. I mean, all right, let's
I
salvage
seriously
it.
thought that it says desserts. Ready for this?
Ugh.
It says,
I wouldn't eat that
it
anytime.
sounded good when you were describing it.
I know. It says you can add them into ice cream, cookies, cakes when cooking.
Who the fuck would do
Ooh.
that?
Honestly, it honestly
What kind of
tastes like
psycho?
an old
Oh.
mushroom.
What kind of psycho is putting that in ice cream?
No, you know what it tastes and smells like? Dog food.
I'm gonna go down to Dairy Queen and say, you got any of
No,
these
it-
roasted
smell
chestnuts?
Oh
I
my
immediately
Put it in
thought
my
it was
sundae.
like dog food.
It kind of did taste like the consistency, even like
Not that I've
it
ever
was
tasted
mushy,
it,
but
but
like
it,
the smell of dog food. I'm really
not
sorry,
that I ever
It's
guys.
all right.
tasted
It's
dog
okay.
food, but if I ever, thought it would taste like something.
Never considered eating dog food. That's what I think it would taste. That was wild.
Mm,
All right, well,
wow.
that's good. Okay.
Yeah. You
Maybe
ready?
I hope the cookies. I
Oh,
hope the
boy.
cookies are dope.
They are cookies. I mean, let's just whatever they taste like. Just keep telling yourself it's a cookie.
What kind of cookie is it?
It is Mahua cookies, Taiwan dessert.
Terrified.
Okay, let's just go for it.
You know, Amanda, this is giving me some ideas. We really need to get more food on the show. This is the greatest segment so far.
I know.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. there
There we go.
Okay. Oh, not awful.
Oh my gosh,
They look like-
they're big.
Are these tails of pigs? They're big boys.
Oh my
it
gosh.
looks. I haven't smelled it yet.
Somehow,
Looks like a little donut.
somehow
It
I got a
does.
tiny
Smells
one.
like it.
Like
But
a crispy Krispy
it
Kreme.
smells
Extra
actually really good.
crunchy Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Like it smells really good.
All right,
Okay.
going in. Oh god. Hard as
Hard.
shit.
I might cry a little bit. I'm laughing.
I actually kind of like it.
Not bad. Very hard, but
Crunchy.
Yeah, I'm not terrible.
It's good though. The sugar's good.
yeah,
I
I
would
love
eat this
a
again.
little bit of sugar.
So I was hungry. It was there.
Interesting.
Oh, it almost tastes like a sesame stick.
Yeah,
With sugar on it.
yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if I'm off by saying this because my palate is not very diverse, but I feel like some cultures, like this thing, right? Like we're used to like what for dessert, like actual cookies and donuts and stuff. Like we're used to a lot of chocolates, and this is like it's a little sweet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we just
Yes.
turn up the sweetness too much
It's
in
real
America.
though. It's real because we tried other things that were like rice cakes.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
right.
weren't sweet at all. And like bean cake. Like
Yeah.
last year when we did like the taste testing thing.
Yeah.
And they weren't most of them weren't sweet, but this looked very sweet.
Yeah.
But it's really not.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I hope I didn't crack my tooth when I bit into
Must
that.
be a cultural thing.
Yeah. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But and they had like these, what was it? Bean ice cream.
Mm.
Corn and bean ice cream. What was the other one? Ice cream. What?
Green bean. Green bean cream.
Like bean, like black bean.
Yeah, like beans.
Ew.
Where do they get these ideas? You know?
I mean, maybe like they don't have it's not the sugar.
Is my tooth still?
Right.
No, you're missing it too.
I'm
Just
so
kid- I'm just
confused.
kidding.
I honestly thought when I bit into.
You got to bite back here.
I had a friend
right.
whose tooth actually like, they had a false tooth, and in my head for a second I'm like, does man have a false tooth? Like I was really trying to figure that out. Like where it just like pops in and out.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting.
No, I am missing 8 teeth though.
Oh wow. Why?
I feel like we definitely had.
I don't know if I remember that.
So I told Annalie, so for those of you who don't know, my old co-teacher, I told her the one day about it, and she told like everyone in the break room.
Jeez.
Man is missing teeth.
I have 8 baby teeth that I lost, and I just never grew them back.
That's really interesting.
So now I have like a partial that has, I think it only has 5 teeth on it.
Okay.
And the other ones are like way back here.
I mean,
So
hey,
my bottom row. Yeah.
if you can chew, you never know.
Yeah,
Right.
but it sucks because implants are like so expensive, and I never grew my teeth back. I just never grew my teeth back. You know, it's like not my fault.
No.
A lot of people want to get implants maybe, and you know they lost their teeth on their own, but I just never grew them
Right.
back. So yeah.
My little brother used to grow extra teeth. I don't know if you guys have ever
Oh.
seen people like
Wow.
that.
Mm-hmm.
He had an extra tooth grow over top of his. Steven.
Okay.
It was way before you knew him, obviously.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Well, these were some, with the exception of the one, delectable treats. Thank you again so much for bringing them.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Glad you guys enjoyed them and
Mhm.
got to hear my pappy laugh, as he calls it.
Yes.
Uh,
Pappy laugh.
The
He
pappy
he
laugh.
hates it.
That was hilarious.
He
Oh
finds
my
it highly unattractive.
How did you name that? How did that come?
See,
to be?
I don't know. I think it's just when you hear old guys laugh like in a movie or something, in a movie theater. You know, it's like a there it is.
I'm sorry.
Pappy laugh.
My mom does this thing when she laughs. It's like, what is that like?
Pees her
"Brr."
pants?
No, that
No, I'm just kidding.
that like roll in your tongue. That's
Not
like,
every time. What?
"Brr." You know that roll in your tongue. You know that thing where you roll your, no, her tongue like
What the
No, I don't know.
her tongue like rolls and she like makes
Like
this
a curled
weird
tongue,
noise.
like-
No, like she makes this like
a
a purr,
in the back of your throat.
like
Oh,
something
okay.
like purr when she laughs. Yeah, like really hard. Yeah,
I can't imagine
It's
that.
weird.
Now I like to know your mom.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
mom.
We'll have to get her to do it.
Let's hear a good
Call
joke.
her up.
Yeah, when
Call
she
her up
laughs.
and tell her a joke.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, thank you for bringing those.
You're
Mhm.
welcome. I'm
Sweet.
glad they were a big hit.
Absolutely.
It was completely not planned. It was just like, I'm bringing these with us. So this will be fun.
Yeah, definitely a great segment.
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
So Marco, you said you had more questions.
I do. So yeah, no, I mean, I was just like I alluded to before all the snacks came out. I was interested in sort of, again, like you guys said, so you're living separately now, and I was just wondering like how, you know, you're planning on getting married and everything like that. And I mean, if you don't want to talk about like the religion side of it, I'm interested in how I'm interested because Amanda and I, it's not really a part of our life, but we've had guests on. We know a lot of people that it is a part of their lives. So I was interested in sort of the family dynamic because and how it integrates with like religion, like you guys alluded to, like living together, and really longer term, like, you know, like we said, like we always talk about, you know, how are we going to raise our kids and things like that. So just curious as to your guys' opinion on sort of religion as it pertains to you right now. So like if you guys are like religious yourselves in your own lives, because obviously you come from families that were religious, and I'll give, I mean, we'll explain our situation.
Cool. Yeah.
So like I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school from the time I was like in pre-K till 12th grade. So I went to, you know, middle school, all that sort of stuff, high school. But, you know, I mean, we kind of had religion classes and stuff like that. We never, as a family, we never really went to church and stuff. You know, we were working on the weekends and, you know, it was just kind of like the holiday type thing, right? So I think it just plays into relationships and it plays into life and everything like that, because there are morals and values that I think the Catholic Church or any religion instills upon you. But I'm always interested to hear how individually people you know, get affected by like a family upbringing like that, and then like ultimately where you go. And I think, Amanda, was yours a similar experience?
So I went to a Catholic school until like 3rd grade, Holy Spirit in Millville. If you've heard of it. And I was supposed to go to like, what is it called?
CCD?
CCD?
I wanted to
Yeah.
I wanted to say CCAC, but honestly,
You went there when you were that young?
honestly, my dad is more religious. So you know, my parents separated, and then once I got I left Holy Spirit in like the 4th grade to go to Shaler or whatever. So then it wasn't really a part of my life. I did go to like youth group with my friends whenever I was young. I was always like open to it. And then it kind of like, I obviously didn't really go to church or anything. But like I said, I grew up like going to Catholic church, with my dad. And when I was in the 3rd grade, like every Friday morning we would have mass and stuff like that. So now I obviously don't really go to church. Not that I don't believe in God or anything. It's just, I don't go to church. I do work at a church, as you may know, but right now it is closed. I just do like the nursery, and then like work with the kids and teach them different stuff from the Bible and stuff. So that has actually made me way more open because it's just really great there to religion and stuff. But
Now, the church that you work at, is it also Catholic or is it a different kind of church?
Methodist.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I guess I'll just say Mark and I, like, we don't really plan to have our kids go to church or whatever. If they choose to go to church, like, with their friends or with whoever, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna like have them go to church.
We're honestly
and,
trying to still gather like almost like opinions and ideas. So that is really what prompts the question a lot of times is what do you guys think? Like, are you religious in your life? And like, how do you see like right now, right? Things can change, but like the rest of your life, like how big of an impact is that on your relationship, on you individually, on your future kids? Like that's
Yeah, obviously it's different for everyone. So.
It's a cool question, though. I think we also had different upbringings even with both being Catholic.
Yeah.
I also went to a Catholic school through 4th grade. I went to St. Bonaventure, if you guys are familiar with it.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
And it's closed now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So sad. I
Not
really
long
did-
after the one I went to closed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always really enjoyed it. And then I went to Shaler in 5th grade, when everyone kind of merged together. And then, but our family, we always went to church on the weekends. That was kind of we just tried to do that. My parents still to this day will, even during quarantine when there was no church, they'd say, get up at 7 o'clock on a Sunday to go watch the mass on TV.
Right.
So like, in all honesty, we kind of balance it differently. Like, and he can get into his perspective as well in a second. But I mean, I appreciate church now. But here's a little bit of background on who I am.
Yeah.
My mom, I think her and my grandma and my grandpa, they got divorced later on in her life, but they were Methodist at first, which is very, very similar to Catholicism. You don't know how similar other churches are unless you go. And that's the thing that I kind of always say is because like church isn't about like the way that you practice it. In my own opinion, and this is just me being completely transparent here, it's about what you get from church. It's what you put into.
Right.
So it's like, even if you don't go to church, who you are as a person, it really depends on like what you put into it. You know what I mean? And like who you're interacting with, because every church is its own like little society.
Yeah.
Because I could have a Catholic church, but my church, although it be Roman Catholic, I could go to your Roman Catholic church and it almost be exactly the same, but it's a different feeling because there's different people, different mini societies, the way I look at it, kind of thing. And I'm I don't know, I like this topic. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But my grandma, she and my grandpa, they got separated when my mom was, I think, like 13. And she found a different pathway through the Presbyterian church. So when I was growing up, I would go to church with my grandma. And they're the kind of church, it's called ACAC. It's downtown. And they have like, they were singing and like dancing on stage. And so like I was brought up very different from I think a lot of people because I went to that kind of church. Then I go to Chicago and see my grandpa and go to his Methodist church. But throughout my regular life, I went to Catholic church.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, and that was the thing. It's like so much division is about like what kind of church you go to. But really, it's not about how you do it. It's about what you're putting into it and what you're getting out.
For sure.
I agree.
You
I went
know-
to Catholic, Christian, and then Methodist.
Yeah,
So,
and there's not as much difference in it as people think there is. It's kind of sad in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just like I don't know. One day you feel like you want to be quiet at home if you're going home from work and you're like, oh, I'm just tired today. So you want to go read a book. So you want to do calm and like maybe read a book or whatever. You're getting information in. Maybe another day you want to go to a party. That's like the different churches to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. Am I going too
Yeah.
deep into this,
No,
guys?
no,
Yeah.
keep going.
No.
No, seriously, we enjoyed
No,
we
I
enjoy
like-
the topic.
I like that point of view.
Thank you. Yeah, and then like my best friend's family, they go to like a very like hype kind of like concert like church,
Yeah,
and I like that
I've heard of
too.
those,
They're
yeah.
real fun, you
Yeah.
know. But anyway, I'm digressing a lot. I
Okay.
apologize.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Oh.
keep going.
To go back to the original question, I think for us, and we've talked about it a little bit, we've actually gone to church together,
Mhm.
but we don't do it every single Sunday. It's more
Mhm.
like when we try to if we can,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, but it's not gonna ruin our life if we miss one for X, Y, or Z.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since quarantine, we really haven't
Yeah.
because of, you know, health issues
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know if we're gonna necessarily force it on our kids, but when they're younger, I mean, we haven't even really talked about this.
Yeah.
When they're younger, like I feel like they'd just be part of the family groove,
Yeah, like if you go, they'll go. You know, what I
kind of
mean?
thing. Yeah, but then if like they're older, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
but
getting very serious very quick.
Well, there's nothing-
so sorry.
It's not like you're not etching it in stone, but it's something I think it's interesting to think about. We think about it all the time. And like I said, we always like to ask our guests about it because when you have a couple like yourselves, right? And you're approaching that time in your lives, right? You're approaching marriage and ultimately kids, which we haven't touched on specifically yet, but assuming that that's the path, then you're going to have to make that decision at some point. So it's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah,
I
what
think-
if they were like, we don't want kids? We're like,
Oh
Well,
yeah,
forget it.
taboo on you.
you didn't ask them that question
Yeah, we
first.
forgot that qualifier. Yeah. Oops.
We're
Uh,
actually not even getting married anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Sorry. No.
You ruined everything.
Turn the ring. Michael, did you have a similar experience?
So I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
We would always go all the time when I was younger at CCD,
Yeah.
1st through 8th grade. But as we got older, you know, things changed. You know, parents got different jobs.
Yep.
And they didn't force us to go as
Right.
much. I think the weird thing for me is went to the same church my whole life, Holy Angels Church.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, my mom's side and my dad's side also went there.
Yeah.
Even before they got together.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
just to stick with like that one church, it's a very traditional church. Not saying I agree with every single thing of the
Mhm.
Catholic religion,
Mhm.
but I feel like it is the purest religion. I guess.
Michael, well, I don't agree.
I don't know
with
if you can say that now. Just
That's rough, babe. They
I
have to
agree.
cut that.
don't need to. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of things I do not agree with. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want certain people to watch
I think,
this.
I think that if you are a Catholic or if you're a Muslim or if you're a Methodist, you're probably going to say that about your religion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or else you would
Yeah.
be a different religion, or you wouldn't, or you'd be like atheist, or you wouldn't believe in God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the point of the faith and belief is that you should probably believe in that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I mean, I tend to agree with that. Like I said, we were Catholic, but our situations have kind of changed. But please go on.
I mean,
'Cause-
I was also in like the 3rd grade, so don't look at me.
Because like I don't know, like my one job, people always attack the Catholic religion,
Yeah.
and I know about all the what's the word I'm looking for? The
The sad things that have happened recently.
right,
Yeah.
all the scandals and everything.
Yeah.
And I can't defend that.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can defend is that, you know, they try to regroup and try to still bring people back into the
Right.
church. And if they want to leave, they want to leave.
Right.
But if you grew up a certain way, and if you feel like, you know, even within the context of the religion, if there's some things that are bad, it can't be entirely bad.
Yeah.
You can't just like go away from what you grew up on and everything.
I
So-
can add to
because
that
like
too.
with my sister, she switched religions, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as she was able to think for herself and everything, she wanted to just get away, which
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I just feel that like, you know, if you feel like we were raised good,
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't because we were Catholic, but I have a feeling it was. So that's why I feel that like when we have children,
Yeah.
I would like them to be raised Catholic.
Very similar wavelength there on that. I struggle with it though because like I think about that all the time. It's like I went to Catholic school for 12 years. Like what if I didn't? You know, what kind of person would I be? You know, I
Right.
tend to think that I'm like a decent person, right? Like I'm not out here hurting anybody. You know, and doing stuff.
I swear at first you said you wanted to send our kids to a Catholic school.
I think I did.
I
say
think
that.
you did
I think
say
I did
that
say
at
that.
first. Yeah.
But now I say, I think recently I've just said a good school district. But I don't know. I still don't have the answers. Again, that's why we ask these questions. But that's an interesting perspective because when you only know one thing, or you know like one way that you turned out, and obviously most of us I think generally kind of like the way that we are, or we're actively trying to change it. If you're in a spot where it's like your upbringing was good, then it's like, well, I should try to kind of repeat that, with my kids, because it's like, well, I'm gonna have kids and I'm gonna try to like raise them as best as I can,
Right.
and it's just they're difficult questions to answer.
Mm.
And I don't know if there's really right answers, but I enjoy exploring this as one of the biggest topics.
And obviously, one of the factors is changing times.
For sure.
So,
I think one of the biggest problems with like, I don't want to say, I'll use Catholicism because I know it the best, and all of us probably know it the best, but it's probably other religions as well. I think one of the biggest problems, the reason that it's like a turnoff for people at some points of their life and stuff, at least for me, the way that I feel about it, and you kind of mentioned it, Michael, is that there is nothing wrong with 99% of the stuff that's like in the Catholic faith. Pretty much, you can boil it down to just treat other people like you'd want to be treated type of thing, right? If you really want to oversimplify, right? And as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're just doing your thing, like who really could argue with that? And I think that's probably most religions, but again, Catholicism specifically. I think really, excuse me, I think really where it breaks down a lot of times and people get messed up is that there's like the faith, like the actual religion, and then there's the commercialization of the religion, which truthfully, I think that's kind of part of the scandal piece. Like there's nothing wrong with this, with most of the story and the morals and values, and that's what we all, I think, sitting at this table appreciate the most about it. But then there's times where it's like, oh, why am I, like the whole commercialization, like the actual church aspect, like, and that's actually different than the societal thing that you brought up, Rachel. It's like, that's a community, that's real. But then like, there's the kind of the overlapping stuff, and it's in all religions. It's just, I think it's tough because it makes things harder than they need to be. And I think that's why sometimes, at least kind of like me, I've defaulted to just be a good person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's tough. But no, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know the answer. It's just kind of the way that I think. So
all good questions.
Yeah.
This is like a really good conversation that people need to hear. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
I think everyone needs to have this conversation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In their lifetime, whether it be about Catholicism,
Yeah.
whatever religion, like you said, be a good person.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
I don't know. We are all growing people.
Oh, yeah.
We're still experiencing life every day.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important conversation.
I mean, again, that's kind of why we started some of the stuff we're doing, especially with couples, because we like to hear about that sort of stuff. But I actually don't think that people have those conversations enough. I think you probably should have it
A
more,
lot of people
more
are
often.
very opinionated, and they're not open to hearing other people's opinions. But for us,
Yes.
this is our way of hearing how
And learning.
other couples live their lives and like kind of comparing. And
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so I guess to kind of, tie that together. So obviously religion is important in your lives. And you continually make it a part of it. So you kind of think like moving into the future, like we need to touch on the kids specifically, but like this part of parenting, just kind of like as you go, I think it's kind of like you said, like you're not going to force it necessarily, but just it'll be a part of it, and then kind of make your own decision.
Yes.
Well, definitely, I agree with him to give more clarity on like my aspect.
Yeah.
That I think it's important to give kids, and as a teacher, even as a person who deals with children often, children need structure, just like adults need structure. And you know what? If they choose to later find out that maybe they want to bend a little bit that way, just like I've bent a little bit different ways, you need a foundation. Is a good way of thinking about it. And I think once children understand the difference between right and wrong, then they can make their own decisions for themselves later on in life.
Definitely.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think about that all the time, just like trying to establish a good foundation for your kids, because ultimately I think sometimes, at least with parents that I've seen, kind of not too much my parents, but like a lot of people, right? You parent, and then it's like they're always going to be your kids, but at a certain point they're their own person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just got to trust the work that you did,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I think that sometimes messes with people. But so question for you guys on this whole topic. I know that the relationship is 2 years in, you have the plans, obviously you're engaged, and you have plans for wedding. Do you ever think about beyond that, like, do you think about like kids and stuff like that? For context again, me and Amanda, like, we kind of have some things planned. Like, I would say probably very loosely planned the next, I don't know, 5-ish years. Nothing like major, but we're just thinking like, I love to do that sort of shit. So like, it's like, oh, well, I want to kind of propose maybe in like this year, and then married in 2 more years, and then kids in this range. Not because like I'm a crazy psycho that needs to have everything planned.
At first, it really
She was
stressed.
scared.
At first, it really
She was
stressed
super
me
scared when I
out.
did that.
Ditto.
She was.
He
super
had it
scared.
like all typed up on
Oh, no.
Microsoft.
I just like Google Docs.
Google
That's
Docs.
great though. That's funny.
Google
and
Docs
it
in a
really-
shared folder.
It was
So you
just
could
a
edit
lot
it
of
too.
pressure. Like,
But I just like I don't know what it is about me. I just enjoy having like sort of an idea of where things are gonna go from like a planning perspective, but it's not written in stone. Like
well, I
I said,
guess
it
like
could always
how long
change.
after you get married do you want to have kids? That's Mark's long way of asking that question.
It was-
and
was-
if you have any other goals.
I was giving them the context.
After that.
But yeah, so, okay, so yes, to boil it down, like, how do you guys think about like long-term goals and stuff like that, and ultimately like kids and things? Like, have you guys thought about that? And even the most simplest question, how many kids and things like that, if you have.
Well, I think at least 2 kids.
Oh yeah. They gotta have someone to play with. Is what
Yeah.
we talked
Yeah.
about.
And I mean, the bad thing is if it's 2 girls, we might
Mhm.
need to try for a third because the family name dies with me if we don't have a boy.
You know, we
So-
didn't talk about
I
that.
know. I just thought of it. So
Third girl. Damn.
How dare
go
you
for
have
4.
new thoughts?
Go for 4.
New thoughts on tape. What's
I
that?
can't help it.
Fourth girl.
But no, we think at least a year after we're married to have that,
Yeah.
just like a year where we can like
Yeah.
do what we want, maybe travel,
Yes.
do anything, and
Yeah.
then we can
Almost like a honeymoon year kind
Yeah.
of thing, where we can
Yeah.
just love each other and
For
like
sure.
get through like the norms of living together
Yeah.
and just kind of have fun, you know,
yeah.
and have that alone time. And then like we have talked a lot about kids actually, because I mean we both really want them, and
Yep.
you know, he always says before 35 he has to have a kid.
Because I mean, I thought about it. Like my dad was 34 when he had
Yeah.
me. I mean, they had my older sister. So, but I feel like I don't want to be, when they're graduating high
Yeah,
school. I
you
don't
don't
wanna
be a super old dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It happens sometimes.
I know.
but
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
those
both
are-
a little older.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the things obviously you can't control, which is why like you kind of put a little bit of a plan in place. I think
Yeah.
it's a good way to do it. But again, stuff happens. You can always adapt. But that's awesome. So more than 2 kids. I kind of tend to agree with that. What have we said before? 2, 3, max.
You
Man
said-
is an only child. I
you
don't think
said
that's the way
2.
to go.
I said maybe 3.
Yeah.
So I'm an only child. Mark has a sister that is
3 years younger.
3 years younger than him, so he wants like the same thing,
I
essentially.
thought it was a good plan.
Back to the plan.
But I have heard it's good. This could not be true or whatever. I don't have siblings, but I heard like when siblings are like closer in age, they tend to like fight more.
True story.
And when you're like a couple, 3 years or whatever, 2 to 3 years, or maybe like 3, I think it is. I think my friend told me that.
Did we cover how many siblings you guys have?
Mm-mm.
No. Maybe we should
He
talk
just-
Yeah,
about
that's a good.
So yeah, I have an older sister, 5 years older than me.
Gotcha.
That's it.
And he's got 5 cats.
5 cats.
5 cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of consider that, it's part of the family.
True.
So.
True.
Yeah. So I have an older brother who's 2.5 years older than me,
Mhm.
and we were very close growing up. So like I
Mhm.
was kind of like I was playing video games with him and
Yeah.
like being a tomboy,
Yeah.
playing, having fun.
Me and my sister are the same way.
Yeah, it's a nice combination. I think that time gap is good because they're a little bit older. They can teach you things. You know what I mean?
You see? I told you. 3
Yeah.
years, 2.5, 3 years.
It's like perfect. But here's the funny thing with my family. So it was 2.5 years for us. And then my parents waited a long time to have my little sister, 6 years.
Mhm.
And then between her and my younger brother was like another 3 years.
Oh, wow.
No.
Spread out.
Yeah. So it was like 2.5, 6, 3. So it was almost like in between. So it was like they had like 2 groupings of kids almost. So like when Steven, my little brother, was born, I was 8 years old.
Mhm.
So I almost felt like he was my child.
That's really interesting, though. That's. I've definitely heard of like obviously families that had like just like 1 kid later on, but that's interesting because now you have, like you said, 2 groupings
So how
of
old
kids.
were your parents when they had you?
Oh, jeez. My dad was 30. I know he's 30 years older than me, and my mom's 3 years younger than him, so I guess she was 27. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. That is a very interesting strategy. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if
oh,
it was
we
planned
had
that
one more.
way.
Let's have another one. Seriously.
Well,
though.
actually, Stephen wasn't a plan.
Oh, okay.
He was a gift from God.
It worked though.
Yes,
It
it
worked.
I
did.
know like some women like go through menopause like a lot earlier than others, you know.
Right. So yeah, but he kept us very young. So like I watched a lot of kids shows.
Yeah.
Later into my life, been a very, goofy, fun adult, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good though. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's good to keep you young. I actually heard somebody, I think I was watching a podcast or something like that, and I heard that that's like one of the best ways to stay young, like into your 30s and 40s, is to have like kids later. You know,
Mm.
either your first kids or again like sort of like a second grouping or something like that. But it's definitely interesting because you get to stay hip to the young crowd. I guess I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool though. So sweet.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think?
Well, I guess I could ask you if you have any goals, but I feel like those are you said traveling. Do you have anywhere that you want to travel? Like specifically or anything
We don't
like
talk about
that?
traveling enough. Yeah.
Traveling's fun.
Yeah, what's your opinions on traveling? You guys are obviously adventurous with the taste.
Yes. Well, I last summer I finally got my passport.
Oh, okay.
So she still needs to get hers, but definitely would want to go to Canada.
Mhm.
Rome has always been on my
I was
on
in
my
it.
checklist.
I was in Italy.
Oh.
I went to Rome. Yeah.
How was that?
I was like literally 16 or something like that. So it wasn't like good enough. It wasn't like I wasn't in a time where I could really like comprehend it. All I can tell you is that was took a flight from Pittsburgh to Charlotte, and then took a flight from Charlotte to Rome,
Ooh.
and that was the second plane ride. Like that was my first
That
trip.
did it for
Yeah.
him.
That was shitty.
He said
I
nobody.
mean, I'm not good
no
on
one
planes.
spoke English. He says he
Oh.
hated it.
I'm not good on planes.
Oh my
and
gosh.
at 10,
You
10,
never
10
hear that
hours.
perspective.
Yeah, he says no one spoke English and he hated it.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I mean,
it's
again,
Rome.
well, again, I was young, so I didn't like fully appreciate it. If I went back, I would probably enjoy it a lot more.
I would like
but
to go there.
that is a thing though. Is like
You
I
should
don't
say
know if-
why you went.
what? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma was born in Italy. She had my mom when she was 18. My mom was in Italy, was born in Italy, and was there until she was 7, and then they came over here. So, and they used to go back there all the time. So that was the last time we've been there, and it's just kind of like a family trip to go back. She's eating my
No,
cookie.
I'm scared. I'm scared it's gonna take off my tooth.
Yeah, but
I wanted to.
but it was just to go back and kind of see like where they grew up and everything like that. But it's depending on where you go. If you go into Rome, it's much more like industrialized and modern than where we spent most of our time, which was literally in the country, like a countryside of
Mm.
Italy. So, I mean, they still had things like kind of like a computer and stuff like that, but I don't know. I mean, I think you guys will have a wonderful time. I just know me that like 10-hour flight was dreadful.
See,
Well,
I've
he
never
d-
been
he
on a
doesn't
plane.
do well
Never
with
been on a
flights.
plane?
Never have.
Do you like are you good on like roller coasters?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a weird like the equilibrium and stuff like that just messes with me. I don't really ride too many roller coasters, and when I go up that high like in an airplane, kind of just feels like a lot of pressure. So, if you're good though, it'll probably be fine. Probably just like sleep and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So-
is an interesting feeling when you first have you ridden on an airplane?
Mhm.
When you first go up, it's such a weird feeling because you're just
Oh, yeah.
like you're
Yeah,
going
it's like,
up.
it's like you just let
Yeah,
off.
we had him. He doesn't like to take pills or anything like that, but we had him take Dramamine the second time
Mm.
around, and he was better, a
Yeah.
lot better. So
So, but have fun.
we've been on 2 cruises together. So
Where'd you guys go?
Highly recommend cruises.
the
They
first
look wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, the first one we went to Fort Lauderdale. Oh my gosh, I don't even. So I've like
you
been out.
don't even know. I mean,
I've
like,
been out of
just-
the country,
We were on a
and
boat.
I honestly don't even like know where I went. So like, on it's horrible.
It wasn't
because-
about that. It was about the boat.
because it's like we went to we were supposed to go to Nassau, but we didn't. Saint Martin, I know for sure. But like I think it's all like Bahama area.
Yeah, it's
so
like-
they have
yeah.
like, different names and stuff like that, but it's all like Bahama area, and then they have Royal Caribbean has their own private island. So we went there and it's just like amazing, and
True.
and then we went to Carnival, but I'm telling you, if you ever go on a cruise, Royal Caribbean is the way to go.
Okay.
It was like last minute they booked the Carnival one. It was still nice, but Royal Caribbean is just
Have you guys not been on cruises?
everything.
Yeah.
Never have.
quick thing about it, like, is like it actually probably more matters like where you set sail from, like where your port is, because like you can do
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore, you could do Fort Lauderdale, you could do Miami, Tampa Bay. So it just really depends on where you're gonna drive
we went to
or fly
Baltimore
to.
for the second one, and
Yeah.
we drove down, and then we just got on the.
It's a nice time though, just because like you're on a boat and you don't have to really pay. I mean, you have to pay for things, but like there's a lot of like free stuff. Like it's
Free food
we-
everywhere.
yeah, it's tremendous.
And that's the
Tremendous.
best part. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
I
there are
bet.
some fancy dancy restaurants that you can pay for. We went to a couple of those. Then there's like the dining hall every
Restaurants
night.
on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
you're
on there.
always on the boat. Like you're on the boat for like sometimes there's 2 days that you're just at sea and you're on the boat.
Which,
um,
if you're afraid of that, that's understandable. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
I was
But-
though, like his family just like they were just going and they invited me to go, and I was obviously freaking out, like excitement, because I've never been out of the country or anything. This was probably like, I don't know, a little over 2 years ago. No, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I mean it was awesome, and it's actually really cool when you don't have to get a ocean view room, but you open the door and you see the ocean. It's just so pretty, just to look out and see the beautiful ocean, and you're just like this little.
sounds like heaven because you're just like
It's
you're stuck away
and
from
it's actually
society in a
very-
happy place.
you can
Interesting.
keep yourself really busy, but it's also like really relaxing. Like we had extra time during the day, we would just go back to the room and like literally take a nap
Yeah.
and watch some TV. But they have like restaurants all on the ship. And you just go and like you could just get free pizza,
Yeah.
free pizza. Go to the dining hall, breakfast, lunch, dinner, like in so many different restaurants. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Pretty cool. Pretty
It's
cool.
definitely an experience. I would say definitely at least go on one in your
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yep. Honeymoon. What
Yeah,
do
maybe.
you guys have a honeymoon plans?
We're thinking an island.
An island.
I don't know which one though.
We could take a cruise to an island.
There you go.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds there.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be like a futuristic thing for us to go on cruises, like just him and I. He does not vacation well, so
What does that mean?
He's not good at relaxing. So I actually think if we went to like Disney World and we like kept busy, like he would like actually like I feel like that would be better for him almost. I'm not sure because we've never done anything like that.
Now,
but-
are you guys like the kind of people when you go somewhere new, do you enjoy like seeing like the history behind the place? Like, are you that kind of person, or is it more like
To an extent, it would probably have to depend on the place, at least for me. Like,
Yeah.
if it was somewhere like that had history to it in a sense, and not just like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, so I went to Disney World once or twice, and I was really interested in like the almost behind the scenes. Like, apparently they have like a whole city under there where there's like
Yeah,
tunnels and
tunnels,
shit. Like,
yeah.
I would
Oh
be
my God.
really interested in seeing that.
yeah?
Because I marvel at the engineering of things like that, and because I try to like thinking like business and entrepreneurship and stuff, like the idea that Walt Disney, which I don't know all of his history, but the idea that he was able to build like that whole massive thing down there, and also to whatever extent it is in California.
I don't know
That
about
is
this.
that is cool. I didn't mean underground necessarily, but the whole
It is,
whole
though.
operation.
Some of it's
the whole-
they like
it's
pop
crazy.
in and out.
Yeah.
Another-
Sorry, I felt like terror.
Uh,
That's awful.
Oh,
I
no.
thought of terrorists.
Oh.
But no, I imagine because all of a sudden it's like Winnie the Pooh's there and then he's
This
gone.
is super
Yeah.
Like it's,
random.
It's
cool.
crazy. I don't
It's
know how they
really
did it.
cool.
This is super random, but we watched Saving Mr. Banks recently.
Oh,
It was
it's a
really
good.
good.
Movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what our like couple vacation will be, but I definitely, we'll go on probably. Well, we were supposed to go on a cruise recently over the quarantine.
Mm.
So we'll definitely go on another one for sure with his family.
Is there a place that do you guys normally vacation or anything like that? Have you been to Disney World or anything like that? Any
Not together.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been there.
Never been
So,
there?
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went there on a choir trip in high school.
I've only been there
Interesting.
once when I was 9. But I would love to go back. Like
It's a cool place.
I would
Yeah.
love
it
to go
really is a
back.
cool
Yeah.
place.
Any other spots that you ever go? Just
Well,
travel in
our
general?
first vacation last year was to the Outer Banks.
Oh, okay.
That was the first time we'd ever gone away
And it was
Yeah.
just the
with
two
a
of
significant
us.
other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a big deal with like our families that
Right.
like
Yeah.
we went together
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So since
Okay.
that ties back to our prior conversation.
Mhm.
Was that the first time you'd been there?
For me, no. I've been there. That was like my 4th time.
Okay.
I've been there 2 other times, but my aunt and uncle moved down there.
Mhm.
So it was like a really different experience just being with a significant other versus
Gotcha.
like the family.
What is there to do down there? I know a lot of people have gone there. I know it's like a really popular place for I think Pittsburghers to go. Like what is there a lake? What do you do there?
So the Outer Banks is actually a grouping of like little like chain islands that are along the coast.
It's
Gotcha.
the ocean, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the ocean.
Oh. I
Yeah.
was thinking Deep Creek or something.
Hey, you're good. You're good.
No, it's-
Sorry.
It's kind of like Ocean City or what's the other one? Is there another one?
Well, shit. Let's go.
It's beautiful because
I
it's,
think
it's a
it's
very
like-
natural beach.
Yeah.
People
Ah.
go to Ocean City and they go to like Outer Banks, isn't it?
Interesting.
It's cool because you'll see like wildlife like right there, like off the beach, and then like there's trees and like grasses. And if you guys have been to Ocean City, which
Yeah.
is actually where my family used to go prior to my uncle and aunt moving down there,
Yeah.
it's a completely different experience.
Hmm.
Completely, and it's good for they're both good for different
also,
reasons.
the show Outer Banks on Netflix is really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
If you haven't seen it.
I haven't. No,
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
yeah.
It's
But it's
random.
beautiful. There's like giant dunes. There's a lot of history, and I'm a big history buff.
Okay.
Love,
Yeah.
real nerdy. I
Well,
am.
you would probably like the show because it's about like the history of like the gold and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
because Blackbeard's island was down there. You can go to his
Yeah.
museum, and they
Oh.
tell you about like how they actually and like there's a place called Nag's Head, and like
Yeah,
why it's
I've heard
called
of
Nag's Head
Yeah.
is because there were horses' heads, and they would put lanterns on a horse's neck because the horses were like naturally living out there,
Yeah.
and they would the pirates would do it on purpose, so they thought it was like a buoy in water, and ships would crash into the land, and then they loot them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
brilliant, and that's why it's called Nag's Head.
Interesting.
It's really a cool place.
I appreciate like
I've
history
never
like
been
that.
there.
Never been there?
No.
Want to go tomorrow?
Let's
kidding.
If it was the middle of the quarantine.
go now.
sure. Actually, no.
See ya.
Actually, no, not a good idea to go in the
Right.
middle of a pandemic.
Interesting. What other stuff besides going down to the strip district and trying fun snacks? What other stuff do you guys do for fun?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, lately we've been homebodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started watching The Office during quarantine, and
Yeah.
he is like the biggest media movie guy I've ever met. He has over 1,000 movies alphabetized on shelves.
Nice.
Yeah, like DVDs.
Like all DVDs. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
yeah, my
Yep.
aunt and uncle are like that.
Yeah, and so it's fun. So we'll search like all those like $5 ones. I'm like, oh, we found this one, or oh,
Yeah.
we found that one. It's really fun. Although I'm like, honey, we found this, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I already have it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
Collecting is fun. Do you have a list or do you just have them all
Oh yeah, I have a
memorized?
list because so I would
like,
tend to
Got that one.
let friends borrow movies.
Yeah.
So I need to keep track.
Yeah.
There were times when I totally forgot, and I'm sure there's a few movies that they still have.
Bro, you could
Like-
make a little side hustle off that.
I could. I
Like,
thought
you
about
make your
that.
own renting.
Little blockbuster.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Family
not
video.
dead.
Right.
It's in my basement.
Yeah, so we
Awesome.
watch a lot of shows, and we've been watching The Office, and
Yeah.
we're in the 9th season. We have 3 episodes left, so I'm very excited. I have
Yeah.
not seen them all, so this has been a big
Yeah.
adventure for me because he's way
Yeah.
into that.
How
stuff.
many seasons are there? Is it
9. There's 9
Nine
seasons.
seasons. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're almost done. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been watching a lot of movies. We what else do we?
And I think, well, for the movie point, so like I wanted to bring this in at some point.
Yeah.
She was very sheltered when she was
Okay.
growing up.
Gotcha.
Total opposite of me.
Yeah.
So I had to bring it up. she
well,
was
Mark's
As far as, like,
Mark
things
was
that you
sheltered. He's never saw
consume,
the
like,
Lion
media and
King.
stuff like that?
right. Like she wasn't allowed to watch horror movies. The
Were
com-
you allowed to watch SpongeBob? That's like a
yes, I was.
Okay, that's like a
I'm
common
actually like in love with
theme
SpongeBob.
that people are not allowed to watch.
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
A lot of people were neglected.
But
from
I'm sorry.
SpongeBob,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. What else?
SpongeBob's pretty great. Just
yeah,
putting that
I
out
enjoy
there.
was never a fan of it, but I'll just,
Oh my.
um
you must leave now. Mark
Get
like
out.
quotes SpongeBob
But
randomly.
Can I tell you a story about SpongeBob real quick? Can you remember, honey, what you were saying? You
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Okay. So I thought SpongeBob was really lame back in the day.
Yeah.
When I was young, I was like,
Okay.
that's stupid. Like, I'm not watching that. Blah, blah, blah. In my head, I never said it to anybody. But there was this girl who sat next to me in biology class, and she was in love with it. Everything she said or did was SpongeBob. And I was like, and I was never mean to her, but in my head, I was like, ew, like, stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, later on in life, I got into high school. I'm like, I started watching it. I don't even know why. It was just like I was channel flicking it. And I ended up loving it. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the coolest show. This is hilarious.
So you never watched as a kid, only when you were
No,
older.
when I got
That's-
older, I'm like, this is funny.
that's-
It's almost like you have to appreciate certain things like after, like what I'm saying, like that's a funny show, like there's a lot of like funny stuff in there, but the more that I sometimes rewatch things occasionally, or like you see clips, it's like I did not understand that when I was young.
Right.
And it's like I don't know if they're putting like hidden stuff in there or whatever, but it's an interesting one. But like Amanda said, with me like quoting stuff, I do it just for some reason I must have just watched a lot of it when I was younger, and it's just second
Well,
nature.
he does
It's
it with
like
movies too, just quote stuff.
Adam
And
Sandler
he
movies.
does not watch a lot. He does not watch a lot of TV, but he watches one movie, he remembers the whole like quote.
if it's funny.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you were saying.
Yeah. So, well, about the SpongeBob. So I was more growing up on like Rugrats,
Oh, I love
Yeah, I watched
Rugrats.
Cat Dog, all
Cat
those
Dog,
shows.
yeah.
And then when SpongeBob came out, I'd switched to Cartoon Network,
Gotcha.
and I was more into those shows. So I think that's why. I
Did you
didn't-
watch Adult Swim? Or was
for a
that,
time?
Yeah.
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 But aside from that,
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So,
Yes,
I like that show.
I'm sorry. Did you say horror movies? What about like Halloween?
okay, so
'Cause I actually
Our
have.
second date. The
Third-
third date.
third
I
date.
have.
date.
I have some.
Okay.
I have family members that weren't allowed to like celebrate Halloween and stuff like
Oh
that.
wow.
So,
We were
Wow.
never that far.
okay.
Like they didn't like not let me watch it, but it was like it was taboo. Like no one watched it kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And like I just didn't have interest until I was
Yeah.
older in college. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really fun, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But his family is like iconic with them. Like
Yeah.
they love them.
Yeah.
Go on, honey.
Horror
yeah,
movies?
so
Yeah.
especially with the horror movie. So our third date, it was actually on Halloween. I said, okay, let's go out and see the movie Halloween. It was when the newer one came out with
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So we go and see it, and she's not having the movie whatsoever. She thinks it's trash. This is the second time I've seen it, and after the movie's over with, she was very like worried about me. She
I thought he
I
was like a horror
yeah,
freak.
a horror
Oh,
movie freak.
First
And-
date was haunted house, then this on the third date. I'm like,
Serial
is this
killer.
guy like a weirdo?
Yeah,
Like-
and like it wasn't like we were able to go out afterwards and like talk and stuff, and then she like realized, okay, no, he's just a movie fan. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of dodged a bullet there because I was like, well, I'm not like some sort of freak that's gonna like
Mark
shack you up or something.
And I don't like gore. I like suspense thrillers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if there's gore in between, like I'm cool with that. And I've gotten a little bit better. Like since dating him, what was that one where like was it Freddy? And like the guy came out of his body.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
watched
love
that. I'm
that
like, okay,
one.
this is kind of interesting, kind of thing. But before that, I was like, ew, I don't want to see the guts. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wasn't me.
Yeah,
so-
Mark is not a big horror movie fan.
Okay.
I don't like
He
voluntarily
doesn't.
being
He
scared.
doesn't like
Okay.
how
I'm bad
it,
at watching them because
it
I'm like, oh shit, there he is.
controls
No,
what
he's
you
there.
see, but like a haunted house doesn't scare him as much. It's very weird to me.
I enjoy going to like Hundred Acre Manor and stuff like that because
Yeah.
like it's kind of a cool experience to go through that and kind of do
See,
that.
that
But
terrifies
like when I'm,
me.
I just don't.
more.
I don't like the like how literally there's. I'm not every movie because I know there's a lot like different, almost different tiers of horror movies, if you will. But like the ones that just like pan the camera over to something scary and just like jump scare you like that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't.
He's
it's,
scared.
You know, but
I'm the kind of person you could say boo while looking at me in my face, and I'm like,
See, I like the jump scares. When you watch a movie, a horror movie, and it's just slow, I can't stand.
I like
that.
funny movies. You know,
Yeah.
I like to laugh. But yeah, did you? Was
Well,
there more to that?
Yeah, there's another. So she never grew up watching the raunchy teen
Okay.
comedy movies,
Okay.
Gotcha.
and obviously with the way she was raised, like that wasn't a part of
Yeah.
her
Mhm.
parents'
What,
plans.
Give an example. Like what? Like
So I was allowed to watch rated R movies when
Like
I was
super
like
bad.
13.
I did see Superbad, but I was with friends, and they
we'll
didn't
have to edit that
That
out.
was my first.
It's totally fine.
That was my first.
We're older
one.
now.
I remember watching it by myself.
Oh, there you go. You go, Amanda.
Yeah, like, I think for me it was American Pie.
Yeah.
That was the
Gotcha.
first one I watched, and
Yeah.
so like, not saying I was more mature or maybe like my parents trusted me more to
Yeah.
like handle that type of material,
Right.
watching that stuff, but I don't know. It's just it didn't affect me in a bad way.
Yeah,
I
guess
for sure. Yeah.
So like when we ended up watching some of them, like she was just surprised, I guess, that I was able to watch them when I was so young,
Yeah. It was like baffling to me. I'm like, why?
and with the
Like,
way I
how
turned
are
out,
we-
I guess.
Yeah, because
So-
you're a decent person. And I didn't
Right.
expect
So
it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
'Cause-
watching stuff super young. I think.
Yeah. And you're a decent person too.
That's interesting because like as a parent, obviously it's just out of protection. It's like you don't want your kid to do that. Like right. Like,
Right,
watch
right.
something, be influenced by XYZ movie, whatever, and then hang out with the wrong people and then become a bad person or something like that.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question though. You guys have kids down the line from now, right? Whatever the year would be, 10 years, 15 years, like wherever, like that same thing. What do you do? What do they watch? Are they able to watch that sort of stuff? What do you think? Yeah, we're putting you both on the spot right now. This is a family feud.
Yikes.
I feel like, sorry, I'm like about to answer.
No, do you want to answer, Amanda? Go ahead.
I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't know. My little cousin's about to be like 11. Apparently, my aunt used to be like really like, she wasn't even allowed to watch like certain Taylor Swift music videos. Like,
That's like a sin to you,
craziness.
right?
Mhm.
But now apparently they're watching Riverdale with her.
Riverdale. Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna like watch Superbad with my child when she's like 10, 11. But like, you know, if she goes and watch it with her friends and like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Times are so weird right now, like the ages and stuff. I don't know. My mom would have like Lifetime playing and stuff all the time, and I would watch it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think with the times, because like I was walking around my house last week, and I hear these group of kids, probably had to be 10 or 11 years old. They're dropping F-bombs left and right.
Yeah.
Like when I was that age, that was the furthest thing from my mouth. I wouldn't be saying
kids
stuff
are having
like
to grow up earlier, it seems like, you know, or
Yeah.
they're being forced to grow up earlier just because of how easy and accessible like social media, technology, and everything
Right.
is, which is tough. It's a double-edged sword. We talk about this too, you know, with like giving your kid a smartphone or like a cell phone. It's like,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you need to give it to them pretty early because you want them to be safe, but at the same time, you know, you don't want them
Pandora's box.
yeah, you don't
Yeah.
really want to. You want to be careful. But I know I asked a question. If you guys want to answer that, or what was it was about like kids, like just like, do you kind of think the same way? I mean, I don't know if you guys had thought about that.
I think
before.
we want to have a blend of
Yeah.
kind of like how her parents raised her and how my parents raised
Yeah.
me.
Makes sense.
Obviously, if the child, let's say like we have our 10-year-old son, if we feel like he's not mature enough to handle certain shows, we're
Right.
not going to let him watch it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it might be based on the kids. That's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah, but then that's interesting for the second kid though. Like, let's
Right.
say, I don't even know what we're gonna name our kids. We've talked about this, but
Yeah.
like, for example, like, oh, little Tommy. is-
Hezekiah or something.
Hezekiah, yeah, right. In your wildest dream, no. But let's say like Tommy. We're not gonna name our
Yeah,
kid Tommy,
yeah.
but whatever. Let's say Tommy's 12 and Molly's, I don't know, 8. Tommy can handle it, but Molly can't. So I assume that we probably curb to Molly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, because you want to make sure it's right for the kid. But then let's say Molly's asleep and or Tommy's up with you or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. I feel like I just blabbed a lot.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was. There was a piece that like, I think it's difficult to call, and I think that there's a way in there to do it individually, like you said. And I think normally it gets skewed the other way. It's like, oh, well, this kid's 12. You know, our kid's 12 now, so we're gonna watch. That's like, content has eclipsed the 12-year-old thing in the household now. So maybe the younger one gets to do things sooner. I think that's generally what I've heard, is that, you know, if this person did it at 12, then the next one probably does it like almost like 11 or 10 type of thing. I don't know. I had a question though, because this is something that personally affected me, potentially Amanda, probably less than Amanda. So I'm going to try to explain it as succinctly as I can. And the question that I would like to the answer that I'd like to hear from you guys is how it was in your households. Okay, so we talked a lot right now about things that you have to naturally experience as a kid, right? You come through and you see like horror movies, and you see you know, religion and honestly stuff that we haven't even talked about, like, you know, sex, like drugs, alcohol, like all those things, right? I'm struggling with this internally, and I don't know how often me and Amanda talk about this specifically, but here's the thing.
Like what?
Do you- Well, it's really just a concept. It's like, do you tell your kids about the stuff, or do you just shield them from it? Because I feel that I was personally told specifically from my mother, like till I was blue in the face for like years and years, even almost to this day, not really to this day, because I've gotten to the point where it's like she understands that I know, because I had this come into Jesus moment with her, where it's like for a long time it was basically don't have sex, don't do drugs, don't smoke, don't drink any alcohol, right? Like, you know, while I was under 21 and like even, you know, a little bit past that, right? And I was like, I understand. And infinitesimally, I said that. And to this day, I never.
Meanwhile,
Like,
he does not drink alcohol.
I don't drink alcohol. So
For
like,
the-
so like, but here's the point that I'm making. There's obviously a lot of things in that, you know, maybe you should do, maybe you shouldn't do. But the point and the trouble that I have right now is that, do you tell your kids just straight up don't do it and don't educate them on it? Or do you try to like tell them like, look, sex, for example, is a real thing in life. You are probably going to have to deal with it at some point, and you're a human being, so you're going to have like hormones and all sorts of stuff. Do you guys think the conversation ends with don't have sex, or do you think the conversation should go further? I personally want my kids to be able to come to me and ask me anything, and I don't know how to do that. Obviously, I don't have any experience, but you know what I'm saying. So I don't know if I explained on any of that right, but like I'm interested to hear like maybe what your households were like and what you guys have, you know, opinions on that, if any of that made sense.
It made sense.
Yeah, it did. It did.
You did a very good job of explaining it, and then it was like almost like very final at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
That's what I was
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I felt a little bit weird coming back in.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It was
Yeah.
concluded well.
Yeah.
So my parents didn't really talk to us about so much what it even was.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Until I was older, because it was that very sheltered upbringing.
Right.
And I learned most of what I knew from school and from friends.
Yep.
And I actually would have.
Point there, friends that were your age or maybe a little bit older or something. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
not experienced adults.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And there's a lot of fear actually involved, to be completely honest and open with you guys. I wouldn't say this to everybody, you know, we're getting deep here, because it's something embarrassing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was very uncertain of what was going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, but I think with my own children, I've even said this to Michael about even other things, even money. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
think
there's
kids
an endless
need
list.
to understand what's going on in the world, you know.
Yeah.
And like, when you hit adulthood, it can hit you either in the face like a brick
Right.
or a feather, you know. And it's like that's a hard thing. I think that's the parenting for everybody. Like, what age do you tell your children what, you know?
Yeah.
Or do you not tell them, is what
Right.
you were getting at.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it, you know, some of my family members, I'm not going to say who they are in case one day they listen to this,
Mm.
but cousins and whatnot,
Yeah.
were told things very young. And I think it impacted them in the wrong way.
Mhm.
But then with my family, I feel like we were not told things, you know, until later on. And I made good life decisions, but
Right.
I had a lot of fear,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Well, it's uncertainty. It's just you
Yeah.
don't know. Like it's
Yeah.
literally you just don't know because, and it's not like I'm not trying to shit on any of our parents or anything like that or any of our upbringing. But that's a concern that I have moving forward. It's like you either tell them just don't do it and it ends there, and you're like kind of the shelter type thing. It's honestly a lot of my childhood was, and then or it's like, well, hey, look, drugs are bad, whatever is bad, but it is a thing. You know, it's like you can't. There's no real way, no actual feasible way to like. Oh, you never have to even experience anything about drugs. You're never going to be influenced by it at all. If you can't put your kid in a bubble, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So it's like, well, I start to think, well, maybe there's a better way, but it is difficult because, like you guys mentioned, like maybe your kids aren't as mature at younger ages and that. So, I don't know,
Yeah.
Michael, did you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I wasn't shielded by anything when I
Okay.
was younger. I think it was just like my parents trusted me more. They knew I had a sound head on
Yeah.
my shoulders.
Just kidding.
And like with like saying about like sex and stuff, like my dad never had to talk with me.
Yeah.
I just because of my friends, I
Yeah.
knew stuff.
I mean,
and
it's
like,
the same. Yeah.
and it's like, I mean, I don't want to say that like they did anything wrong or they did stuff the right way, but like I said, it just goes back to the kid. If they know how to handle certain material, certain information,
Right.
and not act on it differently, then like I feel like it's okay. Like with my friends right now, a few of them do drugs.
Yeah.
I've never been influenced by them. I've
Mhm.
never done drugs in my
Right.
life. So I feel like it just depends on the kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I do think that we do need to talk to our kids about things, though. I think it's
Yeah.
important just to be at the right maturity level, I think is really what it is. But it has to be explained. You can't just say, no, don't do that. Like, you need to have that
Yeah.
information because,
That's what Mark's family did.
yeah,
Yeah.
because, like that's how our minds work. we're not gonna like we learn through experience. But if we're not given a reason why something's not, we're like, forget that. Like,
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I truthfully believe, obviously we don't know, but like think of it like this. For years and years, like my mom said like that. I use this as the example. Don't do this, this, and this, right? Honestly, if she would have said it like maybe like 5 percentage points more, like, you know, we'll just use a random number, like 1 year further or something like that, there's a chance that I would have been, you know what, fuck you, I'm just gonna do it.
yeah,
Because like people start to
Right.
rebel. Like I was never rebellious type thing, but you understand what I'm saying.
right.
Like
You get
it's like,
frustrated.
yeah, you can't, if you leave out the reasoning, I
Yeah.
really think that you're just asking for trouble. Again, it's tough because, you know, the maturity level and stuff like that. But I don't know. I want to just make sure that we have an open dialogue in our house
Mm.
for that sort of stuff. It's going to be weird, I want to say, because like nobody wants to actively talk to their kids about sex or something like that, probably. It's a little weird.
If
at
you
the
do,
same-
you got a problem.
But here's the thing, though. It's like if you have a kid that seems to be struggling, would you rather them be like, you know, a parent in their teens, or would you rather like have a difficult conversation? You know, and
Yeah.
you don't know. Obviously, you don't know which way anything's going to go. But that's what I mean. Is I would try to do that. I hope it would make the bond between you and your kid stronger because you're
Yeah.
more open.
Yeah,
So
I definitely am very open with my mom, and honestly, we talked about sex very young, and now that we're talking about this, I wonder if it's because of what I like saw on TV, or my aunt and uncle, they have a lot of like that's what she said jokes, and like
gotcha.
talk about how they're gonna go knock boots. Meanwhile, like yeah, so
Knock
and that's
boots.
how my little cousin is too, and I think now she's almost 11, so I think she you know, has heard about like getting her period and stuff like that. But I used to feel bad for her because they would like make jokes, and like at some time you like start to catch on, or you're just confused, and it's like
It's like you're left out. I mean,
Right.
like,
yeah. But I wonder like if that's. But we talked about stuff at a pretty young age, so.
we're good. I mean, it's just honestly to me too. It's just kind of scary. Do I want to have? Okay, I have a 15-year-old kid. Do I want my 15-year-old kid to learn about sex, drugs, and alcohol from the other 15-year-old kid that he somewhat learned from his parents, like by because you don't know what their households are like, right?
Right.
Or would you rather kind of step in and say, "Hey, listen, I don't know what Jimmy's telling you, but I'm going to tell you as an adult here, this is," and try to dumb it down for them, obviously, because they're not going to fully understand it because you've had the experience. But like this is what this is. If you drink alcohol, you're probably gonna. I can't say obviously because I haven't, but you know what I'm saying. Like if you do this, this is what's gonna happen. This is what could happen. You know, and I'll tell this quick story. I don't know if you guys know the comedian Chris D'Elia. I think he was just brought up in the news about some bullshit, but regardless, it was just one episode or one clip, honestly, that I saw, and he goes something like, you know, I never drank alcohol or something in my life, yada yada, and it wasn't because my parents told me not to. They were just like, okay, if you're gonna drink, be careful. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and he makes I don't know if that's actually true, but like it makes sense to a certain degree. He's like, his parents told him, said, hey, if you're gonna drink alcohol, we don't care if you do necessarily, but just make sure you're careful, because we know that that's kind of how kids are, right? You know, most people like to experiment or whatever. And he's like, my brain was messed up. Like I couldn't compute it because I was waiting for them to say, don't do this. So I could do it to defy them. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. So he just didn't do it. It was weird. It was a really interesting thing. So I'm not saying all kids are like that, but I'm just saying that like, if you kind of have at least the dialogue piece and you kind of say, look, I really don't think you should do this. But ultimately, if you're going to do it, I would rather you be educated and make your own decision rather than just do it because like you are in some sort of uncertain, weird thing going on. So I don't know.
Or like with sex, like if they're not educated on birth control,
Something
like
could go wrong.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason for me. I would want to talk to them about that
For sure.
specifically.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, guys, we have, I don't know if anybody has been checking the time, but it's almost been 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Did that not go by fast?
It really did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
What a
So
good conversation.
100%. No, I think that this was, I don't want to upset any other guest, but this was really good. Honestly, I mean, we had snacks, we had good conversation. All that means for our guests, any guests that have been on the show previously, you got to
You
bring
better
snacks.
step it up.
Come
You
back.
better step it up.
Come back. You better bring snacks. But no, I had a tremendous time.
Yeah,
do
me
you
too.
think?
I did too.
I thought it was great, and we'd love to have you guys back. After 2020 stops being crazy, or
before.
or whenever, or talk about more about the fiance engagement life.
Yes.
Very excited to see what continue you guys' journey on buying a house, getting married, all that jazz. I mean, you guys have a lot going for you here. Seems like it's been a great ride so far. We're excited to see how everything continues to play out. And again, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
having
had
us.
a good time.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, but with that, you got anything else, Mando?
No, I don't think so.
You guys have like a fun signing off, like "See you later" in the
Mark,
AM.
Mark
need-
is
no, we
like Mark always just looks at the camera and is like, "See you in
Salute.
the next one."
Salute. Yeah, I gotta
See
go
you in
to.
the
But you
next
know what we
one.
should do? We should get like a little jingle or something. We'll write a jingle.
You could.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't know.
But
Signature
he
sign
always
off.
puts me on the spot, and he's like, "So, Amanda, you got anything else?" I'm like,
I think like something brilliant. You'll just say something brilliant, and it'll be like, "All right, we're done here." See
It
ya."
could be like a Pat Sajak thing, like always stay in your past.
Just come up with a signature sign. Come up with a jingle or a slogan or a signature sign off and we'll run it next episode.
Okay.
Just kidding. But again, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Very
we
welcome.
definitely will have you back on
Yeah.
if you.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Oh yeah.
You got to bring more snacks.
We
No-
can't guarantee they'll be from the
No
strip,
chestnuts.
Oh.
but-
I'm just-
Maybe the shrimp chips.
Ooh,
Oh.
honey, you didn't even tell them about that.
That's
Tell them
Right.
about the shrimp chips.
Shrimp chips.
Shrimp chips?
They actually taste like shrimp.
Wow.
He's
They are
obsessed with
delicious.
shrimp.
All right, on the
Yeah.
next time that Rachel and Michael here, we're getting shrimp chips.
What if we don't bring them?
Oh, you gotta
They're
leave.
not canceled.
See the door?
Okay.
Oh man.
Alrighty, well, again, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you so much. This has
Mark's
been...
signature sign off.
You ruined it. Just kidding. Oh, no, just kidding.
Sorry, I couldn't be serious when
It's all good.
I was just talking about it.
It's
Okay.
all good. But this has been another episode of AM and the PM with Amanda and Mark, our guests, Rachel and Michael. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And we will talk to you in the next one.